Hey guys, I'm Jules. Welcome back to Manna from Heaven Sourdough Co. And today on the channel, we're going to be making strawberry rhubarb pie, but with the sourdough pie crust. I'm not a big fan of pies. I'd much rather have cookies or cake, especially when it comes to fruit pies. But my grandma makes a strawberry rhubarb pie, and today we're going to be using her recipe because it's my absolute favorite pie I've ever had. And when you add on the sourdough pie crust, it just makes it all the better. So let's get started. To start this recipe off, you'll add 300 grams of all-purpose flour to a mixing bowl. Then 1/4 teaspoon of salt, 2 teaspoons of sugar, and then you'll whisk all those dry ingredients together. Then you're going to take 2 sticks of cold salted butter and cube it up. Then you'll add that to your dry ingredients. And then you'll take a pastry cutter and cut that butter into your flour mixture until the butter is nice and coarse and until it's about pea-sized crumbs of butter. Then you'll add 1/2 cup of unfed sourdough discard and mix that in. And after your discard is all mixed in well, you'll begin adding tablespoons of ice cold water one at a time, and you'll do this about 4 tablespoons worth. And once I got to a point where I felt like for the most part it was all mixed in well, I knew the only way for it to finish mixing well would be for me to turn it out onto my work surface, which is what I did here, and just finished mixing it all together so there was no more dry ingredients left. And after that's done, you'll split your crust into 2 halves for the top half and the bottom half, and then you'll roll it into a ball and press it flat to wrap it up with plastic wrap and store in the fridge. And depending on your schedule for when you're wanting your pie, if you're baking it the same day, you'll want it to chill in the fridge for at least an hour, but if you're wanting to make it later in the week, this crust can rest in your fridge for up to 3 days. So I started this on a Monday, but I wasn't ready to bake my pie until Wednesday. So I just went ahead and wrapped these up and put them in the fridge until Wednesday. So it is now Wednesday. We mixed up our pie crust dough on Monday and put it in the fridge, and now we're ready to make up our pie. So I went ahead and pulled out the pie crust from the fridge, and while that's getting to room temperature for about 10 minutes or so, we're going to go ahead and mix up the pie filling. Alright, to start this recipe off, like I said, we're making strawberry rhubarb pie. So you're going to add 2 cups of sliced up rhubarb, and 2 cups of sliced strawberries. And you'll mix that all together. And then you're going to add 1/4 cup of minute tapioca. and mix that in. And then you're gonna add 1 1/4 cup of sugar. And then you'll mix that together. And then we're going to set this to the side and start rolling out our pie crust. So I lightly floured my work surface and went ahead and put my dough in the middle. This baking mat is really nice because it has the inches marked on here, and we want to make it about 12 inches in diameter so it fits into my pie dish. So you're just going to press and roll, and then we'll turn it so that we get a nice even circle. So we're at 12 inches, so I'm going to fold this up into fourths so I can put it in my pie dish. So now we just open it back up. Very carefully. And then you just kind of press it into the pie dish evenly. And this is a deep pie dish. I've made this pie before, and the strawberry rhubarb recipe is a lot, and I've done it in smaller pie dishes before, but it overflowed. So I learned my lesson, so I'm using this nice deep pie dish today. So we have it pushed down in there, and then I'm just going to even out the sides here. So that's done, so I'm going to grab my filling and dump it in. So I'm going to pour this in here. All right, so now I'm going to set this to the side and we're going to roll out our top crust. So same thing, we're going to kind of roll this out to about 12 inches. I'm going to try and do a lattice design on top. We'll see how this goes. So we have it rolled out to 12 inches, and now I'm going to cut it into about 1-inch strips. So now what we're going to do is we're going to layer some strips going this way. And now what we're going to do is pull back opposite ones and lay other ones in the other direction. That's not the best explanation, but I want to show you. And then we're going to pull back these two. And then these two again. Kind of messed up my design a little bit in the middle, but you know, we're just keeping it real here. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna trim off the excess lattice. And now we're just gonna make this dough all together and crimp it down. Then I'm gonna kind of fold it down a little bit. Just a little bit, and then we'll go back around and give it a little bit of a design. Before I do my next step, I'm going to preheat my oven to 400 degrees. Now I'm just going to give it a little bit of a crust design. And now we're going to brush it with some milk, sprinkle some sugar on top, and then bake for 40 to 55 minutes until it's golden brown. I hope you enjoyed today's video. With spring coming up and strawberry season just around the corner, this is my absolute favorite pie. So thanks Grandma for making this for us all these years, and now I get to make it with a sourdough pie crust. Let me know in the comments what your favorite pie filling is, and I'll put it on the list for next time. Don't forget to like and subscribe. It's free and just helps my channel to grow a little bit more. I'm very thankful for each and every one of my viewers. And I hope you enjoyed today's video, and we'll see you next time.